My name's Eric Page. I'm with Grey Group Training. I know it's kind of a holistic approach because we're not tied to any one branch. We're not tied to any one gear company or gun company, anything like that. So we can come at the problem from all different directions. If they need to know how a Air Force Special Operations guy works, or how a kid that just came back from third group, just came back from Afghanistan, how he wore his gear, we can bring those guys. We've got access to them. We can bring them in, and a lot of times we did interviews in this very room where it's like they film from like chin down, and it's like the guy's talking through it. It's like, this is why I wore my admin panel in this place. You know, this is my call sign. This is why we had the call signs there. It's like, this is how this part's reversible. It's like, this is how many mags I took. This is where I wore this piece of kit, as well as getting all the little stories that are all the background that I think really make hopefully will make the game much better. Motion capture. I never thought that making a video game was so hard. The amount of physicality that goes into all of the motion capture, where you wear, for the military guys, hook and pile, right? So I don't know if you can say Velcro, but you wear a giant pile suit, and then it's reflective tape balls that are all over your body, and you go through, and there's some very specific things you have to learn. Like, there's an indexed pose called the T-pose. It's kind of a joke. So when we finished and wrapped on motion capture, all the guys here went through and signed a poster, and a lot of them wrote, T-pose on it, because it's like you go up and you have to do the same pose where it's arms out to the side, and you have to do the exact same every way, so the computer understands that it's at that index point. But the constant, I don't know how many times the room that the round table was in, how many thousands of times I ducked walk across that thing with everything from a light machine gun to an M4, and how many times I had to die, and it's like, you're shot this way, you go this direction, you're shot this way, you go that direction. And it was especially hard for me because I had to do things wrong. I was supposed to play a bad guy. So when they would say, well, we need a motion capture of this, and my first instinct is to say, well, you wouldn't do that. That's not right. But if I was a bad guy, and I didn't have the same level of training as the characters in the game, they're this very small special unit, then this is how I would do it, and becoming fluid in my movements, because when you try and do something wrong, it becomes very jerky, and it's, well, I want to do it this way, I want to shoulder a rifle this way, and not doing it that way and doing it wrong. It was much more physical than I ever thought it would from actually just playing the game. There was a lot that goes into these things to make them. I thought a video game was 3 months of work, 6 months of work, and it's like, here we go. I didn't know that it's like 3 to 6 months of motion capture, and then it's like the character design and the animators and the story and everything, that like this huge team that goes into it. So very much opened my eyes. Well, we owe it to the guys that do it for real. So with my limited experience in the military, it's like if somebody was representing just my time, I'd really want them to do it right, to have to show the respect and to the memory of all my brothers that did it. So when somebody does something wrong, whether it's reflecting the military in media, whether it's books or TV or movies or video games, there's no greater irritation that I feel than watching it be wrong, having things out of context where they're not, I would say, advised properly, or maybe they just decide to be very Hollywood and just make for a great story and make it seem way over the top. And when things are wrong, it's dishonoring the memory of the guys that do the job for real. So even though this game is set 5 years in the future, about a unit that, it's a small unit that does or doesn't exist, there's guys that are doing this job for real. There's guys that are doing these same missions for real. And so if we, and kind of hope you can bleep it up, but it gets to me when these guys that are being represented incorrectly, because we owe it back to them. We give up our freedoms, they give up their freedoms in order to do these jobs in these horrible, horrible places. So if we're going to make a video game about it, let's do it as right and real as possible.